leave you at the altar, Lillian?
3 days before the wedding.
I was having second thoughts.
It was a long time ago. We've all moved on.
Was never supposed to leave your side, Doctor.
Damn thing hasn't let up since dawn. 4 admissions and 6 consults.
You on call tonight?
Unless you're gonna cover for me.
You think it over. Eminem in 5.
Where's your tie, Weiss? You ready to present?
Standard drill, right?
Let's hope so.
No big deal.
Is that Max Fleischman? I thought he died 3 years ago.
Looks like you did.
Dr. Weiss.
I'm presenting a complication of renal failure occurring 10 days after repair of a ruptured abdominal aortic aneurysm.
To what do you attribute the complication?
Nature of disease. The patient, Hattie Brewer, is a 68-year-old diabetic female who presented to the ER with severe abdominal pain. CT scan was performed and showed a leaking 10-centimeter aneurysm. She underwent successful operative resection, but her creatinine rose steadily in the early post-op period, and she required 3 days of hemodialysis.
And why is it nature of disease?
Well, there's certainly underlying renal compromise in an elderly diabetic.
Like every vascular patient, but they don't all end up needing dialysis.
I guess Dr. Irvin doesn't buy your assessment, Dr. Weiss.
Well, she was hypotensive. Her pressure dropped into the low 60s.
And why was that?
Part of the disease process.
That's a pathetic hypothesis. What was the interval between the diagnosis and the skin incision?
About 2 hours.
In 2 hours, I could have done the whole operation twice.
I didn't sufficiently recognize the clinical signs.
So you stood around and waited until she ruptured?
We couldn't get a hold of the attendant.
Why don't we concentrate on the medical aspects here?
Now, that's a breach of coverage. Who was the attending?
I was.
So the acting chief of surgery wasn't available for a case?
No, I didn't call him in time.
Call him. He's paid to be there. Although it does go to show you, a vascular emergency managed by a general surgeon is a mortality in the making.
Wait a minute. I had to cover the case because the vascular surgeon on call wasn't available. The vascular surgeon was you.
That's a lie. If I wasn't here, I was legitimately signed out.
To a guy who didn't know it and didn't answer his page. Now, it is correct that this resident failed to recognize the gravity of the clinical circumstances, and he undertook an operation well beyond his technical abilities. But none of that would have happened if you were available when you were supposed to be.
That's libel. That's slander. The fact that somebody anoints you acting chief doesn't give you the right to grotesquely mishandle a case, or mismanage a department, or impugn the integrity of world-class surgeons who donate their time in exchange for a slave's wage.
Mr. Acting Chief, may I comment that I performed the first successful repair of an abdominal aneurysm in this hospital in August of 1957.
So that's how he gets his fiber.
Jaco discovered that St. Joseph's Fresno didn't respond to their anesthetic fatalities, they were shut down in the middle of their survey. This anesthesia laboratory will spare us the same fate.
St. Joseph's must have had an inordinate number of deaths.
They'd had 2 in 3 years. We've had 3 in the last 18 months. And you should explain to the supervisors that this laboratory will not only get us out of hot water with Jaco, but will also save lives and thus spare lawsuits, in which case you can argue it comes cheap.
Impressive. Very thorough. I'll bring this with me tomorrow, and if the board is amenable, I'll see to you getting your anesthesia laboratory.
Well, what if they're not amenable?
Then we'll cross that bridge. Are your departments prepared for tomorrow's fire drill?
Tomorrow? I thought we scheduled it next Monday.
No. The nursing supervisors have a conference next Monday in Bakersfield. I circulated a memo with a schedule change.
It never got to me, and my departmental fire safety classes are scheduled for later this week.
We'll reschedule.
That's very kind.
Okay, now, excuse me, I have an appointment.
Before you go.
I know, anesthesia laboratory. I'll give it my best effort.
You've got an appointment, Ron Harris. Or are you too busy making time with the ladies?
Emerald, this is
Dr. Lillian Price. I'm delighted to meet you, Emerald Jordan.
The lawyer. I've seen you on TV.
Welcome to Angels of Mercy, Doctor.
How can I help you, Emerald?
I've been retained by your former medical director.
Frank Hollister is suing?
Wrongful termination. He's asking $5 million.
The man was drunk as a skunk. He got caught sharing a Kodak moment with a corpse.
Well, the way it was explained to me, Frank told Miss Faith if she was camera shy to speak right up. Come on, Ronnie, tell me it's not funny.
No, this is not funny. No, not funny at all.
Well, staring down the barrel of a gun never is. Where was Hollister's formal letter specifying charges and reasons for the termination?
We're trying to keep it quiet.
And why was he not given the opportunity to retain counsel and respond to charges?
If there had been charges, he'd be responding to a grand jury.
No letter, no chance to respond. It's a clear violation of due process, Ron. I'll take this to court for $5 million easy.
And we'll air the facts and ruin his reputation.
Well, that won't serve you, Ron. He was your hire. And besides, you want to buy yourself another multi-million-dollar lawsuit from Levon Faith's family, huh? If this goes public?
What'll he settle for?
$400,000.
Outrageous. Outrageous.
Yeah, $250,000 and the slate is wiped clean. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. No press, no venom, and you'll never hear of Frank Hollister again.
Supervisors are meeting on the budget tomorrow. They won't have time to make a decision on this.
Then, Ron, you'd better convince them to make time. Because if I don't get a thumbs up by 4:45 tomorrow, I ring-a-ding my assistant at the courthouse and have her file the suit. After that, I call the press conference. Oops, I gotta go.
Wesley, what about these 3 in the pit?
He needs another chest x-ray, a head CT, and Dr. Simmons to sew up his scalp.
I got 2 ahead of him, Wesley.
Tangential bullet that looks like it missed everything, but let's do one more quick before he goes upstairs.
Rescue 191 en route. ETA 2 minutes.
That's another gunshot on the way.
Just what we need.
What about Mr. Hamilton?
Lined up for the OR.
Doc, it pains like nothing I ever felt. I just know my ribs busted.
Yeah, 2 of them on the left side. And the CT scan shows a ruptured spleen. You're gonna need some surgery to fix it up, Mr. Hamilton.
Please, just get on with it, Doc.
Shouldn't be long, sir.
Hey, Doc. Well, the homies are popping tonight. That banger we brought in DOA last week, his boys are gunning for payback. Don't expect any let-up, Doc.
1, 2, 3. What do we got?
John Doe, single gunshot wound to the abdomen, barely breathing.
Any Q units of O negative and an intubation tray?
Blood's coming right now.
Yo, Williams, Pre-Op Express has got the ticket to ride.
You think maybe this guy should go first?
Hang on a minute. Find out from Turner which one he wants first while I tube Mr. Gangbanger here.
Now, suck there. Not seeing a damn thing.
Oh, I think I can clean it out a little bit better.
Man, don't Z out on me yet. Come on a little with your retractor.
Dr. Williams has 2 traumas in the ER. He wants to know which one to send up next.
I can't talk to him now. Tell him to use his best judgment.
Williams, we got one hurting taxpayer over here.
What's the verdict?
He said it's up to you.
Take him up.
Are you sure about that?
Mr. Hamilton has peritonitis.
And this man is in shock.
Then hang another unit, nurse. Give my brother here some time to reflect on his lifestyle decisions.
Okay, Sandra, that old incision looks like it's healing up pretty nicely. Say we get you back.
What's wrong?
Does that hurt?
No?
Do your legs hurt you at all?
Nope. Why do you ask?
Hold on a minute, okay? Just hold on.
You have to find ways to cut your operating costs. You went 6.5% over budget.
You try looking into the eyes of a child born with AIDS and telling him his treatment exceeds our cautionary budget. What do you say? Next life, try to get yourself born at Cedars?
Dr. Syfax, Dr. Price, please. I need a second opinion. The first stages of a phase 1 allergic reaction are a mild shingle-like eruption on the surface of the skin, which, if left untreated, could progress to a severe and sometimes fatal viral exanthem. Now, I suggest we take Sandra here off of steroids immediately and switch her to...
Vaseline.
What?
Vaseline, Carrie lotion, Jergens, Nivea.
It's ash, doctor.
Ash.
Ash. Not viral, not fatal, just dry skin.
But...
It's a black thing.
Well, okay. That's good.
This could be fatal.
Maybe we should operate.
Oh, God, you wouldn't believe. Oh. God help us. Babies with babies.
We see a lot of that. You got any of your own?
No.
Married?
Divorced. The man I should have married got freaked out by my career goals.
Oh, the curse of the black female professional. A lot of that going around.
How about you? Are you married?
Not yet, but I'm closing in.
Dr. Man's office call 4490.
Well, it's been a pleasure meeting you, Doctor.
Lillian.
Anna. It's good to have a sister in the house.
Oh, in case you didn't hear, we're rescheduling today's fire drill.
You better pass that on, because I just got a memo confirming it.
Sorry.
When Dr. Foster returns and reclaims his position as chief of surgery, you can all whine to him all you like about changing the sign-out policy. Till then, I'm recirculating the current policy and sign-out so there won't be any further confusion.
I was properly signed out, and at a funeral in North Carolina, my uncle passed away.
Yeah, that raises an interesting question. I present to the jury Medical Economics Newsletter Volume 25, delivered to my office yesterday with a cover photo of our own Dr. Dan Prince at a golf tournament on the same date he says he was at that funeral.
Oh, that's crazy. It must be a printing error. Let me see that.
Was it the departed's wish to be buried on a golf course?
His undying love of the game?
Gentlemen, sorry to interrupt.
Has everyone met Lillian Price, our new medical director?
Sid. I have 2 items of business. First, if you could circulate this memo, the fire drill has been rescheduled again. Secondly, I've just received very sad news via fax from the international surgical project that Dr. Marcus Foster was leading in Zimbabwe. It seems during a photo safari, Dr. Foster momentarily left his group and was attacked and killed by a pack of hyenas.
What? You're kidding.
I'm serious. He was killed by hyenas.
This is no laughing matter.
Does this mean you'll be appointing Turner permanent chief?
You probably hadn't thought about it, Dan.
Yeah, Dan, body is not even cold. Probably not much of a body left.
Hyenas.
Hey, I'm sorry to break up this Wild Kingdom, but maybe we ought to think about contribution in Mark's memory.
We ought to think about who can best carry on his work. Now, since this is first and foremost an academic institution...
It is a clinical institution, Dan.
If you plan to challenge my candidacy, Henry, consider never in the history of Western medicine has a proctologist served as chief of surgery.
Excuse me, I am a colorectal surgeon.
Not to burst your bubble, Dr. Prince, but now that I think about it, Dr. Turner would be the natural choice.
Lillian, I'm flattered, but I've got no mind for a career as a paper-pushing flunky. 3 months is plenty for me.
That sounds like a refusal. So when would it be appropriate to submit a CV?
If you're all done mourning, I suppose immediately. Good day, gentlemen.
Well, Dan, who are you going to endorse?
No one, Dan. I'm staying neutral. You fight it out amongst yourselves.
I'm the only funded investigator.
I represent a critical patient population.
Nothing matters but gross revenue.
You guys couldn't balance a checkbook.
Well, when we get around to talking about a rectal case, we'll ask for your opinion.
Only rectal case around here is you.
No fire drill today. Tell your department. And if you see Dr. Carlisle, will you have her inform obstetrics?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Dr. Carlisle? She's the last department head on my list.
No, I haven't. Don't we have inter-office mail for stuff like that?
Inter-office mail will deliver it next week, Dr. Turner. So I'm taking a little personal responsibility.
Very honorable.
Oh, but not a philosophy you share, of course.